Well, here in Paris, if we go to the criminal court, the trial began today of Gérard Depardieu, the French actor who's facing allegations of sexual assault. But he wasn't there today. According to his doctors, lawyers say they forbade him to go to court because of the state of his health. The 75-year-old had asked for the case to be delayed until he's able to physically be at proceedings. It's alleged he made explicit remarks to and then aggressively groped two of the members of the production team in his last film, The Green Shutters. Let's go to the criminal court. Let's speak to Antonia Kerrigan, our reporter there. Antonia, first of all, just talk me through the legal team and the request for this delay and how that's played out in court.
Yes, well, as you say, present in the courtroom just next to me are two alleged victims of Gérard Depardieu and their lawyers, and of course a defence lawyer, a prosecutor and a judge. Conspicuous by his absence, is Gérard Depardieu. Now, the prosecutors and the lawyers for the victims were more or less unanimous in that they did not oppose a delay in proceedings. The pieces of evidence that have been put forward for this delay are a medical certificate from a cardiologist saying that the actor is not in a position to be seated for as long as 6 hours worth of hearing, and also an endocrinologist making reference to the current state of the actor's diabetes. However, the acquiescence, if you will, of the lawyers for the victims, they say is conditional on court-ordered counter-expertise. In other words, they say these doctors' notes alone aren't enough. They want to see biological data from a court-appointed doctor. In that way, it will be objective, because while they say it is indispensable that the actor be present for this trial, that he participate, that he represent himself, they do not want to see delaying tactics.
Well, he's arguably the most famous international French actor of his generation. Very interesting that he hadn't worked, I think I'm right in saying, for 3 years since this incident. He was due to perform, I think, on stage as a singer as well in the theatre. That was cancelled. It's sort of unleashed after the Me Too movement spread to France. Interesting as well in court today. Am I right to say the defence lawyer, they also called for the trial to be completely cancelled?
He did at one point. Now, he was repeatedly called upon by the judge to remain on topic and reminded that they were not there to discuss the innocence or guilt of his client, but they were there to debate this idea of delaying the trial. However, he continued into his substantive case in the defence of his client, which included questioning, you might say discrediting or attempting to discredit the content of the investigation that was carried out, as well as the victims themselves. About one of the victims, he made a sarcastic comment about about some photos that she had put on her Facebook page of herself and the actor during filming, suggesting that there was some inconsistency between that and her trauma over this alleged sexual assault, I should add. And he also was repeatedly arguing that the investigation was unfair to his client, in that he says there are witnesses who were present at the site and at the time of the alleged incident, who say they didn't see anything and those people were not heard. However, the victims' lawyers argue that no, these were not people who were in the same room and said that they saw this not happen. They were people who were on the site, which was a 6-room flat in Paris, so you could very easily be on site and not see the events take place because you're not in the exact right place. Again, the judge wanted to make clear that this was not the day to be discussing these things. The lawyer nevertheless pointed his finger and even talked over the judge at times. So it's fair to say this is an extremely aggressive defence strategy.
It is. That's really interesting. Very briefly, Antonia, when are we expecting to resume? Do we know in terms of the legal proceedings later this week or not?
We're not sure. So the judges have gone out to deliberate over what they've just heard vis-à-vis the postponement. The postponement that has been asked for by the defence is one of 3 to 6 months. They say that's the time necessary for his medical team to adjust his medical treatment accordingly for him to be in a fit state to appear in court. And they say that that is his right and something that he himself personally very much wishes to do, and as such it's a legal obligation. But we'll see, and we'll have to wait for later this afternoon for a result on this postponement, and then once we see this postponement, I think we'll have to wait even more to know when proceedings will return.